The boardroom was silent except for the ticking of the clock behind me. I'd always hated that clock, its rhythm too perfect, too smug. Across the polished table sat my wife's father, the CEO. His cufflinks gleamed like small knives. Next to him, my wife, Emma, sat with her usual poise. She wouldn't meet my eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was slow and deliberate, the way surgeons talk before they cut. "We're letting you go. Performance issues." Performance. That word hung in the air like a cruel joke. The board didn't speak. They didn't need to. This was never about performance. Emma's hand brushed the edge of her folder, tapping twice, the same signal she used whenever she lied. I'd once thought it was a nervous habit. Now I wasn't so sure. I looked at her, not at him. She looked away. When I stood, no one stopped me. They just watched me gather my things. The pen she'd given me, the files I'd built from nothing. As I left, the clock kept ticking. I could almost hear it whisper, "Finally." At home she was waiting. 2 glasses of wine, a folded paper on the table. She smiled the way people do when they've already decided you're no longer useful. "Since you're jobless now," she said softly, "I think it's time we separate." I didn't respond. She pushed the paper toward me. A list. Shelters, cheap motels, food banks. A charity goodbye. "You'll land on your feet," she added, sipping her wine. "You always do." Her tone was light, but her eyes gleamed with something like relief. I remember staring at the list for a long time. Not at the words, but at the ink. The same pen. My pen. The one she'd taken from my desk this morning. I folded the list and slipped it into my jacket. "Goodbye, Emma," I said. She looked startled, maybe expecting a plea, an argument, a scene. But I simply walked out. The door clicked shut behind me. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was clean. That night, in a rented room with flickering lights, I replayed every conversation, every strange look, every half-smile she'd shared with her father in meetings. A pattern began to form. Quiet, deliberate, familiar. It wasn't performance issues, it was execution, and she'd helped plan it. For 3 days, I said nothing. No calls, no messages. I disappeared. But silence has a way of making people reveal themselves. By the 2nd day, Emma's father wired a transfer, a severance package meant to silence me. By the 3rd, I received an email from Emma, unsigned, from her personal account. It contained one line, "You won't win this." It wasn't a warning, it was confession disguised as arrogance. That night, I began tracing the company's files, the ones I'd built, the contracts I'd written, the mergers her father had signed under my name. Each document bore my digital signature. Each one, when examined closely, revealed a trail, hidden trusts, shell companies, and cross-ownership clauses he'd ignored because he trusted me to manage them. I didn't steal from him, I built everything he used to rise. And in doing so, I'd built a lever, so I pulled it. Quietly. I transferred ownership of subsidiary shares, all legally mine, into a holding account, the kind that required no explanation, no approval. By the time they noticed, it would be too late. Still, I wasn't done. The next day, I visited a small law firm on the East Side. The partner, an old friend, asked no questions. He just handed me a simple envelope and said, "When they call, you'll know it's time." It took 5 days. On the 6th morning, I woke to 164 missed calls. Her name, her father's, the company's number. I poured my coffee slowly, watching the steam rise. Then my phone buzzed again. Her voice, trembling now. "What did you do?" I could hear shouting behind her, her father's voice, sharp, frantic. "We can fix this. Just please tell me what you did." I didn't answer. Instead, I sent her the same list she'd given me. Shelters, cheap motels, food banks, photographed on my kitchen counter. Then I sent the final message, "You'll land on your feet," and turned off the phone. Hours later, the news broke. Her father had been forced to resign. The board was investigating improper transfers and ethical violations. The company's stock plummeted. Their faces were everywhere, confused, exposed. I watched from the quiet of my apartment, the hum of the refrigerator filling the silence. The pen she'd stolen lay beside me. I turned it slowly between my fingers, letting the weight of it settle. 3 days later, she came to find me. She looked smaller, not physically, just diminished, her confidence stripped bare. "You ruined us," she whispered. I smiled faintly. "No, Emma, you ruined me. I just stopped pretending not to notice." She started to cry, soft, delicate tears that used to move me. Now, they just looked rehearsed. "Please, we can rebuild," I cut her off. "I didn't do this to rebuild. I did it to end." I handed her the envelope. Inside, the legal documents. The company, the assets, the trusts, all transferred. But not to her, to charity. Every cent. Her father's empire now belonged to those he would never hire. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Her silence was beautiful, pure. I walked past her without another word. Her perfume lingered in the air, a ghost of a life already dead. It's strange how quiet freedom sounds. No applause, no vindication, just space. I didn't destroy them out of hatred. I simply corrected the balance. They taught me what loyalty costs. I just sent them the invoice. That night, I took one last look at the envelope, the one that started it all. Performance issues, he'd said. He wasn't wrong. I just performed better than they expected. I slipped the pen into my pocket and stepped into the night. No guilt, no fire, only clarity. The kind that comes when you finally stop being what they wanted you to be and become what they made you.